there's a good chance I'm talking nonsense. And I do not like it. So today I'm going to be looking at this Etchr Everyday Sketchbook. And now it's full. Now I've actually had time to live with it through one cycle, if you know what I mean, through one full sketchbook. I think I've got a bit of a firm idea of the things I like about it and the things I don't. And yeah, you might be surprised. So this is 26 sheets, so not the most sheets of some sketchbooks, but certainly not a great deal less than average. So it's 230 GSM paper, which, as you can hear, is quite thick, and it's certainly thick enough to take a lot of watercolour anyway, I would say. You can get it pretty wet, no problem. And 100% cotton, acid-free, all that jazz. So really, in terms of paper quality, it's really up there. It's a good standard. The book itself is covered with a white linen fabric, which I don't know whether it's just me knocking these things around outdoors and stuff, but it has got a little bit mucky. It's starting to look a little bit brown on the edges, maybe just from being handled and the kids playing with it and stuff. As you can see, the kids have decorated it with some beautiful stickers. I like the idea of being able to decorate it on the outside, and I guess I could take the time to put some watercolour around it and decorate it with pens and things like that, but yeah, I do prefer like a plainer cover. But yeah, I'm just not 100% sure about that. And I know a lot of people like the white linen, so maybe just a personal preference. But it doesn't matter, we're here for the sketchbook, not the cover. So yeah, now this is cold pressed, so there's a little bit of texture in, but not that much. Perhaps I would normally like a little bit more. So should we have a little whiz through and you can have a look at some of the art? And some of these, not what you call massively finished pieces, they're thinking pieces. Often when it comes to sketchbook art, I'll be in one or two modes. If I'm doing a demo for YouTube or a demo for a workshop or something, or I'll try and do something specific and finished, and it tends to be considered, even if it is a 10-minute sketch, it tends to have a beginning and an end. If I'm doing it for myself and I'm messing around on a Sunday with a cup of tea in my hand, it could be absolute bobbins. It could be like I start here and I finish there, or I'd lose interest halfway through. I am literally like a toddler. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And so some of this stuff in here is some of this art in here is going to be a bit unfinished or just a bit of an experiment. Or even just a bit of an experiment. I've dressed up for you, by the way. I hope you appreciate it. So yeah, this is a holiday sketch. This is a friend of ours has this little boat, a Cornish crabber, and we lucky enough to use her the last summer and a couple of summers previously, and yeah, it's wonderful. So yeah, we'd had a lovely day on the beach, and while coming ashore, my wife had fallen in about there. But yeah, it was a lovely day. The kids playing in the beautiful water. Really hot day, deserted beach. So lucky. So this is St. Mawes in Cornwall. Again, this is sketched on the back of the boat. Just a quick sketch, really. I think there's some weird contrast going on here. Yeah, that's a bit of an odd colour contrast. Another holiday sketch, sitting on the beach. Porthscatho, I think that is. So a little Sheffield sketch, and then did that for a demo. More demos on YouTube. That was a really nice one. Really simple. You can see in this one how well this Etchr Sketchbook actually takes colour. It does take colour very well, and I think it's a nice mix of absorbency, and also because of the sizing, it doesn't just suck stuff in and you get crisp edges. It's quite a nice mix. Oh, it's a nice sketch. A friend of mine visited Liverpool. Whenever any of my friends go off to seaside places, they always end up sending me photos and saying, "Oh, you should sketch this." I always do. So send me photos of boats. Love it. This was done on a little play date that my daughter went on, and I was left behind while they went looking for chocolate eggs or something in the woods. So I sat and had a quiet sketch. Any opportunity to have a quiet sketch and ignore the world, I'm a happy boy. So again, a more sort of thought about sketch. It's a nice one, that. A bit of cross hatching. I often think, actually, weirdly, this is an interesting example of where you have line work and the balance between line work and colour. And I feel there's a kind of equilibrium in the middle where if you have like the right amount of detailed line work and the right perfect few splashes of colour, it's really harmonious. And I think if you have more detail in line work, you actually either need a lot more detail in painting or a lot less. There's a good chance I'm talking nonsense. Right, anyway. So yeah, this is an interesting one. This was a picture that was done without a white point. So there's no highlight in this. It's all kind of, it's like you're looking through a pair of sunglasses. And I do not like it. Don't ever do that. And in contrast, a beautiful little 10-minute sketch with a bit of the Fude fountain pen. Joyful little YouTube demo. If you've not seen that one, can't remember what it's called. Too many things to remember. Okay, so here's some more holiday sketches. This was in Corfu, the abandoned village of Perithia, where seriously, I had a fantasy about running a sketch course there and spending a week wandering around this abandoned village with some students. And it was just like, why aren't I doing that for my life? Why isn't my life basically about traveling around the world teaching art? Oh, I know why. It's because I've got a mortgage and 2 kids. Again, another YouTube demo. Can't remember what the title was. Starlight Sally. This is a really nice little sketch that I did, again, from in Corfu when we were on holiday. Again, this is coming up for a YouTube tutorial about copying other artists. You might notice it's got quite a lot of Ian Finelli vibes about it. This is a really lovely little image. That's, again, that perfect balance between detail in the painting and detail in the drawing. And I do nail it occasionally. Don't know how big blob is there. Anyway, this is one I've just done for a YouTube tutorial. And again, detail, detail. That's a really fun one. Look at the colours. Look at those beautiful colours. This pad does that. I don't know whether it's the white cover or it's the quite white paper in this pad, but it's definitely not ivory. You know, sometimes you get an ivory pad. This is very white paper. So 2 pictures, two of the same scene. This was me sitting on the bench in the park, and I painted this really quick. It's quite a big open space full of trees. And then I did it again with water-soluble ink in blue. Sometimes it's interesting just to do the contrast. So this is a lagoon in Corfu. Very simple. It's all about the mark making, this one, really. You feel the openness of it. I'm not sure about the clouds, but I quite like the really simple foreground. So this, again, was just sketched on a beach in Corfu. It's quite nice. I think the grey fine liner that I used for it perhaps could have been black. I think it sort of looks slightly insipid, the line work on that, but it's really beautiful to do, and I enjoyed it. And that's the point. Again, another Perithia one. And it's the first thing I always ask myself when it comes to any artwork that I do, is did I enjoy doing it? And I'd say 95% of the time, I do enjoy doing it. Okay, so again, more Corfu sketches. These are really lovely. And this was a little stag do I went on, where I escaped the hubbub to do a little sketch. I definitely think when I'm looking at this pad now is I'm using it for colour. I think this pad is being used for colour. And I think that's a really good, it's a really beautiful, simple sketch. Just 3 different colours or whatever it is. It's great. And again, sitting in the sunshine, sketching, 20 minutes, boom, done. Very muted tones in this one. I like the foreground. And you can see this Earl Grey ink is having some chaos in there. Actually, I don't think it is Earl Grey ink. I think that's Moon Glow. I think that's a Daniel Smith colour. And again, I've been playing a lot recently with muted tones. Trying to do very, not like these kind of bright colours, more like that. You know, really sort of delicate, muted tones. It's interesting to try some new stuff. Again, a little reference sketch there. So I started off with this sketchbook of thinking it was really overpriced. So for all that it's 100% cotton and, oh, my stickers are coming off, and acid-free, you know, lovely paper, nearly £30, like 29 quid for what is an A5 pad is a lot of money. But I've kind of changed my mind about it. It's one of those ones where if I wanted to treat myself, or I just had more money, I really would rate them as a good pad. Probably my go-to pad, actually. So if Etchr Studio want to send me a few more of their pads, I'll quite happily keep using them in my tutorials. and you get free advertising. Well, not free, cost you a few pads. So nice thick paper, definitely a watercolour lover's pad. And yeah, I've gone from being a bit about these to being like a bit about these. They're good, they are good. And I love the way it takes the colour. And I do know some artists who I respect immensely, really good, talented, knowledgeable people who just use these exclusively now. So yeah, that might mean something. So I really hope you enjoyed a little walk through the sketchbook there. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you want to know, if you want any full lessons, how to do line work, how to do watercolor, how to, where to start with your art, check out my Patreon. There's a link in the bio. And yeah, what else is there to say? Well, have a good day. I'm done. I'm off. See ya.